Hi, I'm Realty Night Demon, and this is the C64 Mini. Arrived on the day of the launch, in fact at 9:17 AM this morning. I was quite chuffed about that actually, because I ordered it from Argos and I never thought they'd actually make the date, which is even better. So it would have been a surprise when it was coming up the drive. Anyway, so 64 games included. It is a remake, or it's not quite the same as the C64, but it's an emulated C64. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unbox it now and show you what the contents of it. I'll give you a flick around of the box, and then I'm going to do a little mini review. I'm going to look at the menus, and then we might look at a couple of games, and I'll give you a sort of verdict on it. Now, I never owned a C64, so it's entirely new for me, so I'm quite looking forward to it. Actually, I've got a selection of 8-bit computers, and the Spectrum and the Amstrad, and in fact, if you ordered them in place, C64 was #1 worldwide, sort of as a microcomputer, followed by the Spectrum, and followed by the Amstrad. So it's interesting that this is not the one I've owned. This is the one that I didn't own, but I'm quite excited about playing. So what we got anyway. So I've got Retro Games Limited on the side there, look. So there we go. The C64.com. Flip it over. We've got some of the games. Let's have a little look at those. So what we got on the back. Mission Impossible, Speedball 2, some of the games I've played. Spin Dizzy, that's quite good actually, Spin Dizzy, because that's one that isn't normally released to sort of general public. It's one of those protected ones. Robin of the Wood, Creatures, California Games, Paradroid, and the Basic, and you can load the things to the Basic, and there's a full list of games at the bottom. You can see that as we go across. Let's look at the end. Let's see what we've got on the end here. We've got, if you can see that, I'm hoping you can see that. It's this mini computer, cable, HDMI, joystick, and a few other bits and pieces, and a manual, but it won't be a very exciting manual, I don't think. It's not the kind of manual I'm thinking of. You've got save game functions, 2 USB ports, 720p as the HD output, which is fine, because, I mean, we're talking about an 8-bit console here. So, let's, without further ado, let's open this beastie. Now, I've already cut the tape on the bottom just to cheat a little bit, so we'll just do that. We'll open this up from the bottom as I struggle to pull it free. Oh, damage in the box. Oh, don't like doing that. Right, let's have a look. Oh, I like that. I like that. Isn't that nice? C64 Mini. I like it when somebody goes to a lot of trouble with the actual quality of the box, and that's really nice. Okay, let's open it. There we have it. Oh, wow. A C64 Mini. Let's see if we can get this thing out. There's plastic cover off the top. Let's get my thumb in there. Oh my god, everything seems beautiful. Beautifully packed. There it is. Obviously not a real keyboard, but I mean it looks like the Commodore 64. What thing I find funny about this though, it's kind of brown. Not grey, because I remember them being grey when they first came out. This brown is what you get when you leave them in the sun too long. It's kind of weird that. I think that's kind of an odd. There you can see me in the mirror. Hello. A kind of an odd thing that it's actually like that. Yeah. But power on the top. You've got HDMI on the bottom there with the power for USB, because there's no power cable as such. On-off switch, or a reset switch possibly. More likely to be reset switch. Actually feels really nice. I quite like it. I've seen an opening of one of these, one of the early ones, and they actually put weights in them. And you know what? What a difference the weights make to the machine. It feels weighty and sturdy. That's actually quite a nice feature. So, that's the Mini itself. Let's see what else we got in this box. We've got this Competition Pro style joystick. Everything about this, by the way, is quality. Look at this. C64 Mini on the boxing. It's beautiful. Competition Pro joystick, which is this one, but it's not called Competition Pro, with a number of additional buttons on here. Not entirely sure what all of them mean. I think that's definitely menu, because it's got the burger, as they call it. How's it feel? It feels sort of. It feels very much like a Competition Pro, if I'm honest, and of course it's USB as an output, which is fine. What else have we got in here? That's our power lead. So to go in USB, no power adapter itself because you're sort of expected to have one nowadays. You know, a USB output somewhere. HDMI cable, that's cool. What else have we got in the box? Let's have a little look in here. And we've got the manual, which I think has a bit of a, which has again, like a little bit like all of this, has a sort of retro feel. I quite like that. I think that's quite nice. So how to load it up, how to set it up, where things are. And then you got the French one and the English one. And you got ABC, menu, right, left trigger, left fire, right fire, directional. Right, okay. You see that on there? Yeah. I mean, it's in French. And is there anything else at the back? Oh, there's just a scanning thing there. And there's a support and there's a community that goes with it all. Yeah. So, it's an 8-bit CPC 8-bit ROMs. So all that's on here is licensed, as I understand it as well. So these are all sort of ready to be used and played straight away. And you can add others. At the moment, I believe that's quite limiting. It needs a firmware upgrade, the ones available, but that's just a case of plugging a USB stick in the edge and boom, away it goes. And updates. I'm looking forward to when they convert it into the sort of the full sort of you can stick a USB in and read from it. I noticed in the bottom corner here though. Can you see that in the bottom corner here? That says the C64. I think that's quite nice. It's a nice touch, isn't it? Right, okay. So, without further ado, we'll fire this little beastie up and we'll look at the menus. See you soon. Okay, so we're back and we're set up and we're ready to go. So pretty simple, just a USB cable and an HDMI cable, and of course the controller itself, which has got a number of extra buttons on it. So yeah, first thing to note though, I did have a little play with this. It's definitely it's a C64, but it's an emulation. Thankfully though, the guys who are developing this are in the process of upgrading software and firmware so that there's easier ways to sideload additional games, which should be good. So, but yeah, so it's actually evolving at the moment, and it's selling really well, so that'll help them fund those kind of changes. There's 64 games built in, which is quite nice, because it's a C64. Some I know, some I don't. I was traditionally a Spectrum user and a bit of Amstrad because my mate had one. We really liked it. So what we'll do first though is we'll look at the menus. First thing we can do is we can by pushing the buttons on the bottom of the joystick we can turn the music on and off. So it's very exciting. Anyway, so we can turn that on and off. And then we've got down the bottom here. We've got this is the how we want to see the screen. So pixel perfect. European, you know, different sizes basically. So how you want it to look? We'll stick with pixel perfect though. We might as well. We're in a modern day. So let me go back. All right, we've got language out or settings for language. So those are the ones that are available on there at the moment. You see, with different regions, they'll probably upgrade that. And then we've got the sort of maintenance thing, and it talks about USB keyboards, which is quite useful because it means you can define which USB keyboard can be plugged into the device. It's quite a clever little device. You can actually use a USB hub to extend the number of USB devices that are plugged in. I don't know how specialised it is in that sense, but I assume it's got a, well, I'll show you what I know about it anyway. Legal notices, so who owns it, so you know who's responsible for what and what's licensed. But if you look at the licenses also, you can see the licenses in here, general public licenses, and there's a bit of a key to the whole thing there. It's a Linux operating system underneath, so it's basically an emulator running on top of Linux. So yeah, so we've got all the licenses to go with that, which is really good because that proves that they're actually doing what most license holders require. You can have the things for free as long as you put the licensing in, which is what they've done, which is cool. So we'll go back. System information. This tells you about whether we've got any firmware updates. I don't know if there are any actually. I haven't checked. There probably is by now, considering the last one was 23rd of the 12th, 2017. So yeah, that was the last one they did. So just before Christmas that year. And then factory reset, which we're not going to do. So because just resets it back to factory default. Then we've got our games up here. So if we'll go through those just briefly. We'll play every one of them. We'll play a few as we go along. So we've got Anarchy. I'll just skip through them slowly. There's the basic. Now, basic allows you to side load into this. People have already worked out ways of actually loading 4 games into the save slots that are available within it. So yeah, that's the start. But there's definitely a file browser coming though. Battle Valley, Boulder Dash. Now, I never owned a Commodore 64. This is my sort of first one, and technically, it really isn't a Commodore 64. It's a emulated Commodore 64, but it's very nice. It's very nice indeed. I mean, it's been nicely crafted. Somebody's went to an awful lot of effort to make it as good as they could. I'll just keep skipping through them all. One thing I did notice, however, which kind of amused me, is there's some beautiful games. If you just go back there to Cybernoid and Cybernoid 2, I mean, the graphics look lovely. I mean, they're way better than they, or sharper than they were on the Spectrum. Or not sharp, I should say, more colourful than they were on the Spectrum. But then you get games like that, and that absolutely 100%. Is a Spectrum port. If it was created directly for the Commodore 64, I'll eat my hat. And please comment below if I'm wrong. But when we see this one is one I think we'll go back to when we get around here. Same with elements of Firelord here. This it definitely started on Spectrum and then moved over. So I think it's relatively obvious the ones that didn't actually. Okay. Again, this one I feel like it may have a Spectrum release, and I'll tell you why I think that as well. We'll get back to another one that's similar. Highway Encounter, Hysteria, Mission Impossible 2. IO. Now, I've tried a few of these already. Some I know, some I don't. There's a good selection of shoot 'em ups. If you're into shoot 'em ups, which I definitely am, there's a lovely selection of those. Monty Mole. Yeah, I'm going to show you that one as well. This one as well, Monty Mole. Yeah, so stop here just for a second. If you look at the screenshot that's actually being flashed up there, apart from this title one here, it's got a very Spectrum feel to it. So there's monochrome sort of, those kind of single colours for a character rather than multiple characters, and that sort of higher resolution but less sort of colours going on. Nebulous, Netherworld, yep. Again, another one there. There are elements that make it more Commodore 64 than anything else. I'm sure that the Commodore 64 community, they know this really well, all the games really well, and whatever else it is. But again, that one for me, that looks almost identical to the Spectrum version. The resolution goes up because they have several modes on the C64. That some are chunkier than others, so that you can get more colours, and it's something to do with 2 bytes and 4 bytes. I think I can't remember the exact ins and outs of it. Yeah, Speedball, Speedball 2, personal favourite. Spin Dizzy. This is quite an interesting one. Spin Dizzy. I think I mentioned it earlier, but Spin Dizzy is kind of a licensable game. You can't actually buy it or download it in theory. I'm sure you could find sites that did it though. Steel. Street Sport Baseball. Summer Games. Super Cycle. This one looks really nice. I like the cover there from Epic. Epics. There's another one that feels like a Spectrum one. There's the Hall of Fame. Thing bounces back. This is where you can see all of the people who involved in it. Thing on a Spring. Trailblazer. Judo. Iridium. Who Dares wins. That's Spectrum really good actually. Winter Games. World Games. A lot of games ones. Synapse. And Alley Cat. So we're back again. So what we'll do is we'll go through a couple of the ones. I mean I played a couple, so it's easier if I play the ones I've already played. So we'll move through them slowly here and I'll find the one. What was I looking at? So that was all the games there anyway. I like Deflector. It's a good game. It looks really nice there on the on the C64 with all the extra colours. Definitely a game that was developed for it. Yeah, let's just start with Everyone's a Wally. Right, so this isn't a criticism, by the way, of this product, because this product is pretty good, to be fair. It's more of a notice, because I'm a Spectrum thing. See, well, look at the baby, and watch the baby hit the trees. And this is why I think it's more of a port than anything else. Now, the Spectrum, of course, he would clash. Wally would clash with the background of the bit of sort of furniture there, but the baby does. Look at that! Isn't that weird? Somebody must have had porting tools going around, sort of to actually, you know, bring that in, and it happens for quite a lot of the characters and items in the background. Yeah, so we got a bit of, you know, the colours sinking through. They just didn't have time to do it. They sorted out a lot of the other stuff, you know, the other colours and things there are sorted out, and as I say, Wally doesn't clash himself. I'm not very good at Everyone's a Wally. It's sort of an action adventure game. I don't even know what you want to use things though. You want to collect things, and yeah, book one. Yeah. Anyway, so I'll quit out of that. Oh, actually, yeah, no. While I'm that, I'll show you the other things. So there's a menu button as well. Oh dear. Right, there's a menu button as well. So down here is a menu button which gives you loads and gives you 4 per game. And on basic, of course, people have worked out that if you load a game that from a USB stick, which you can only load one and has to have a specific name at this moment in time, that you can actually load them into memory or into these slots, and then you can automatically reload them. So effectively side loading extra games. The virtual keyboard, which is needed for some games, not all. But those basically gives you the access to all the commands that are there. And there's like little toggle buttons for moving up and down faster. I think you'd probably want a keyboard for certain things, but at least you can do that. It's the ability is there to do that. Alright, okay, let's move on a little bit. Again, this is another one that has there's some upgrades to the main sprites, but then when you look at the other ones, you can see that monochrome Spectrum look that's there. So we got this character here, and if we have a little look, see they're monochrome and they also overlap. But yeah, our main sprite's better, and it's also the background is much more impressive. Oh, I need to get some magic to shoot people with. Something to trade. Oh, yeah. So your sprites and your backgrounds have massively been improved in that sense, but the bad guys are still, as I say, monochrome dudes. Look, interesting. I thought it was interesting anyway. Let's exit this one as well. Find the joystick okay, it's not bad, it's Competition Pro, feels like a Competition Pro, and it feels quite nice. I'm going to try and find one that I feel is sort of full on. Yeah, so we'll go with this one. This is definitely feels like it was full on Commodore 64, definitely full on. Please note, I am rubbish at it, so when I crash like that straight away, you can see that I'm utterly rubbish. Ah, damn it. I'm not getting away with this. Ah! I'm terrible! Let's give it another try. Give it another try. I want to just at least get past that section. Yeah, it's... maybe not the best of games to try. I'll tell you what, we'll change it. Let's try something else. Right, okay. Jumpman. Where are we? Let's go. Right, why to stop here? Yeah. Monty Mole for me. Wanted Monty Mole on the Spectrum. I'm not a big Monty Mole fan, but on the Spectrum, it was room by room by room by room, and it was really good. The one thing that's different on here is the music is good. Very, very good indeed. However, the game... Yeah, what happened? Yeah, that's not the Monty Mole I remember. It has obviously been created purely for the Commodore 64, but as I say, it's definitely not a game I recognise, and yeah, I'd like to know what happened to this. It's got a bit murdered, really. It's quite disappointing, actually. Obviously, you've got to get out of the maze and get to the end, but I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit sad, actually. I think I'd be kind of disappointed if I actually picked up Monty Mole for the Commodore 64. Anyway, okay, so we'll quit out of that one because that's not the best. As I say, I'm really looking forward to the browser as an update. I mean, I can do it manually. Again, here we go. But we're going to do Monty on the Run again. Here we go with the change of styling. So this to me is more like the Spectrum version, except for the fact the music improves massively in a second. The music's good, but he's got that sort of monochrome look, and some of the okay, there are some improvements over the place, but they're not. It's still. Oh, I like the music though. I think that's really cool. Ah! Damn it, put my foot over the edge. Always do that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think the music's really good, but as I say, it does look, you could easily confuse it between the two. If you'd seen them sort of a quick flash past your eyes, you could imagine this more Spectrum than it was C64. That's the weird comparison that appeared for me in this. It wasn't actually about, you know, the hardware wise. The Commodore 64 could have done so much better, but somebody looks like they opted to port some of them. Let's have a little look. Let's whiz through here. That looks really pretty. I don't know how it works though, so it says shoot 'em up. Let's do it because it's shoot 'em up. It says shoot 'em up. I like the word shoot 'em up. Yeah. Okay, let's go for this. Loading. I hope it's not loading at tape speeds. Or was it loading at disk speeds? I think that was one of the things they were saying. It's loads at disk speeds, wasn't it? Level 1. Here we go. Get ready. And I am ready. Dropping me in. Yes. Alright, okay. Kind of cool. Nice. Oh, good game, actually. Okay. Ah! I didn't realise that dragon was shooting at me there. tubes. Yeah, shoot him in the head, look. Is he changing colour? We're flashing. He's not died yet. I think for me, the C64 though, it's definitely aimed at people who probably had one in the first place and just want to kind of dabble back in there, you know, just dive in and have a little play without having the fuss of possibly loading from tapes or whatever else it is. I've come to really appreciate the original technology now, though. If they do the keyboard version, that might be quite nice. Yeah, if you had one and you wanted to get back into it, yes. I never had one, so as a new face, getting sort of involved in this, I think I would actually prefer to find an original unit and actually start loading the games from scratch. I think I would enjoy that a little bit more. One of the things that I enjoy about retro computing and retro gaming is that you know, even I mean, okay, your consoles will load instantaneously, but there's something lovely about, you know, inserting a console cartridge into the machine, or in the case of the sort of the Spectrum or the Amstrad or even the Commodore 64, putting that tape in and waiting for it to load. That's part of the experience. Without it, you kind of miss what was involved in it all. And I seem to have got myself in a trap now of really enjoying that experience and really enjoying that sort of loading the game and doing it the way it was meant to be done. C64, yeah. You know, 64 games for about for about £65. It's got fairly universal appeal. You can chuck your children in front of it, and they may or may not enjoy it. Me, yeah, I'm gonna play it again. I will do some more videos on various games that are on here. I'm gonna wait for the side loading element. However, in the meantime, I'm probably going to have a good look around and see if I can actually find myself a C64 that I can actually record from, because I think that it's more interesting that way than necessarily this way. This is just a pick up and play, and which is there's nothing wrong with, absolutely nothing wrong with. Anyway, I've been your host, Real Genetic Demon. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye bye now.